What's up everybody? Ryan from Thread Chemistry T-shirt and Print Company back with you. I'm going to do a real quick video. What we are doing today is a Siser Brick 600 raised vinyl. Feels more like a silicone, if you will. I typically tell my customers that's what it is because when you try and explain to them that that is a vinyl or even flocked vinyl, that you try to tell them that's a vinyl, they're like, huh? So I even just say that that's felt. The flocked vinyl, and then the brick vinyl is silicone. I don't know. After I talk to them and kind of, explain to them what's going on, then I'll tell them, hey, it's actually a vinyl. Anyway, what we're gonna do, I have a customer who wants to do the Siser Brick 600 layered on the front, and then they want the puff on the back with their quote. So what we're gonna do on the white shirt, he just wants a simple rectangle right here across the front on the chest, layered with a white, same thing, the Brick 600, right over top of that, like so, on top of the white tee. If you look at the brick, you see I always do a test cut. With the brick vinyl, puff vinyls, flocked vinyls, they're all different. So I would recommend, if you have vinyl systems, Cricut, Silhouette, Cameo, any of those, you can do a quick test cut. To be completely honest, I have a Vinyl Systems Evo cutter that I got from heatpressnation.com, and it works really well for contour cutting. When you print an image and then cut around that image, does excellent for that, does excellent for bigger images. However, to be completely honest, I also have a Cameo 3. If I'm doing smaller cuts, fine detail, kind of like this one I messed up. If I can get it right side up. If you can see that, if you get into smaller cuts like that, I use my Cameo. I'll tell you what, I don't know if it's just, I use a 60 degree blade on the vinyl systems with stuff like flocked and brick thicker vinyls. I've adjusted the force, I've adjusted the blade with smaller cuts, really fine detailed cuts. I just can't, I don't know if it's just me, I can't get it dialed in or what, but the Cameo seems to do that better. So with smaller cuts, I'll use that. For contour cutting, I'll use the vinyl systems. Anyway, this is the brick vinyl right here. With the brick vinyl, you always lay the shiny side down towards the floor, and your matte side, you can see, is always up. So matte up, shiny down. So that way, when it cuts, you're gonna be looking at it like this. Wait, do you see that? So it will be backwards. It's mirrored. That way, when you press it on the shirt, it is the correct stop. So that way, when you press it on the shirt, it is mirrored the correct way, and then you just peel it off afterwards. With the Brick 600, I do it for about 10 seconds at 310 degrees. So we're gonna lay the black down, we're gonna lift up our press, we're gonna put the white, layer it, we're gonna line it up correctly, get it on top of the black, and then we're gonna press it for about 10 to 15 seconds. Then he wants the puff on the back. With puff, I've heard of people doing anywhere from 275 degrees to 310, 320 degrees even, for 8 to 15 seconds. I'm doing mine at 310. I'm gonna keep the temperature consistent. Again, you are going to mirror it when you cut it, and that way when you place it, it will be the correct way. The one thing about puff, and this is the only vinyl that I have experienced this with, you do not cut shiny side down, matte side up. This is the only vinyl, in my experience, that I've come across that you do opposite, okay? You cut this, still mirrored, but shiny side up, matte side down, okay? Again, real quick, we're going black brick for just a couple seconds to adhere it, the white on top of that for about 15 seconds at 310 degrees. Then we're gonna flip the shirt over, and we are then gonna add the puff. If you're ever adding puff vinyl to a shirt, make sure you do it last. Let's say in this case, in my case, you don't want to do the puff on the back, then do the brick on front. Always do the puff last. If you have multiple colors of puff, line it up, use some heat tape, you know, get a roll of this stuff. It's really cheap. You know, everybody makes it. I have a few rolls down here, some from Siser, some from, I don't know, everywhere. Anyway, lay it all down, every color, get your design correct, tape it down if you have to, do what you do, but only press your puff once, okay? Always, puff is last. Puff is always last, okay? So anyway, we have our heat press on 310. We heated the bottom platen. Make sure you always heat the bottom platen. A lot of people wonder why some of their first shirts, their first, second, third shirt isn't coming out the same as the rest. That's because you're not preheating your platens. Your top platen is the only one that heats, typically with most heat presses. So always lower that with nothing on it, you know, for 20, 30. I actually do mine for 2 minutes. So I just leave mine on 120, and then I'll kind of, you know, do the math and subtract it. So I'll do the Siser Brick, do it for about 15 seconds. So 120 minus 15, I'll open it at 105. Anyway, let's get this going and see how it turns out. All right, so as you can see, we have the black first layer of Brick 600 on the t-shirt. Let's go ahead and press it. Oh, and also make sure you press your shirt for 3, 4, 5 seconds, get all the moisture out of it, then you can lay your designs on top. All right, so we pressed our shirt for just a couple seconds. We have our first layer of brick about to go down. A good measurement to go. I always bring the collar right to the edge of the platen. I measure 3 to 4 fingers down. We're gonna go press this at medium, low to medium pressure. There we go. We have our first layer done. We're gonna let that sit. There we go, we got our first layer done. Typically what I would do now is I would take my next shirt, lay it down, heat it for 3, 4, 5 seconds, get that moisture out, then lay the black, heat it for 10, 15 seconds, throw it off to the side, go to the next one, giving your shirts time to cool. Do however many you have to do, and then go back to your first one like we just did. We'll take that plastic or that cover off of the black, and we'll start laying and centering our second layer of the white Brick 600 on top of the black. So we'll give this a chance to cool real quick, and then we'll get on to the white. All right, it looks like it has been cooled. We've given it enough time. Let's go ahead and take off that cover layer on the black Siser Brick 600. There's our first layer. As you can see, it's kind of hard to see on camera. Sticking out, you can see it's a really cool, really cool vinyl. I love this stuff. There you go. So let's go ahead and go back over to the press. We're gonna line up and get our white Siser Brick 600, the second layer, laid on top, looking good, and we're gonna do a second press with the second layer of the Siser Brick 600. All right, so we have our second layer here. Another little hint here, when you cut your designs out of your sheet of Brick 600 or puff or regular vinyl, what have you, if you cut your lines straight, right, even though you're just cutting it out, it's gonna make it a lot easier to center. Because if you have it, you know, all kind of screwy, kind of like this one is a good example, like down here, see where it comes down thicker at the bottom, right down there, it's gonna throw you off. So cut those lines straight, even though it doesn't technically matter for the press. But if you cut those straight, it's gonna make it so it looks, you're gonna be able to visualize it much better before you press it, rather than looking like this and throwing you off, right? Because look, it kind of looks like, oh hey, that looks off. You know, it's not as equal distance from there to there. Well, it really is, but visually, it kind of throws you off, right? So when you're cutting them out, just try and cut a straight line off each side. Even the distance in between the letters to the edge will help you. So, so you're even top to bottom, even side to side, right? And because I didn't do that, I'm actually gonna get a quick measurement on these. All right, she looks good. Let's go ahead and throw our cover sheet on, which I don't think we did last time. Low to medium pressure, about 15 seconds. There is our second layer. Let's go ahead and let this guy cool, and we will go on to the back of the shirt with the puff vinyl. While we're letting that second layer of Brick 600 cool, just a side note also, with the Brick 600 on the Cameo, I have it set at blade depth, the force at 28, and the speed at 8. With the puff vinyl, I am at a blade depth 1, force 10, and again, the speed at 8. And with the speed at 8, you can see it did a awesome job. Very clean lines all the way through. All right, so I think we should be cooled on this second layer of Brick 600. Let's go ahead and see how it turns out. There it is, guys. There you have it, guys. There's the front with the white and the black. Looks really good with both layers. You can kind of see how it's kind of getting that 3D look to it, which is really cool. So let's move on. So we got a cover sheet on the bottom of our press, since we will be putting this side on the bottom. We're gonna get that as straight as possible. A couple things I do to make sure it's straight. I always grab up top, up here. Is that distance about the same on both sides? Also on this side, where the sleeve is sewn on to the side of the platen, is that the same? Right there. Are these kind of the bottom of the platen, the sides, are those the same? And then also on the bottom, kind of pull it out, is that bottom straight across with the bottom of the platen there. So, and then obviously our design right there also kind of gives us an eye of laying it down straight. So let's go ahead and take our puff. We're gonna lay it right here. We're gonna center that. I did cut these into strips because he wants it a bit separated. So we're gonna go like so. All right, so we got that laid out. Again, we're at 310, like I've said. I've heard anywhere from 275 to 320. I just do it right at 310, and I'm gonna do it for 10 seconds. At the same low to medium pressure. There we have it. And it just falls off right away. And there you have the puff and the brick. So there you have it, guys. That was, again, a layer of the Siser Brick 600 in black, a second layer of the Siser Brick 600 in white, and then the 3D puff vinyl on the back. I'll try and leave a link of the specific brand of puff vinyl I use down below. I'll leave a link in the description for that, the Siser Brick 600, and I think that should do it. So we're gonna go ahead, get some pictures sent over to our customer, see if he's digging it. If so, we'll go ahead and finish the rest of the order for him. I hope this video helped you guys out. Again, with any puff or brick vinyl. If you guys are having troubles with it, I know I was having a few troubles originally trying to find some videos on both of them, settings on the Cameo and or Vinyl Systems cutter. I use the Fusion IQ heat press. So there it is, guys. Play around with your settings. Always remember to test cut, and don't forget, leave any questions or comments down below. Subscribe if you will. And until next time, guys, I appreciate you. Peace.